The Acolyte has a lot of interesting skills, like using your health bar in order to cast spells, so I want to delve deeply into that today. We're gonna go for the Lich Mastery, it seems like the most appropriate one for that. And we know already that we have minions, necrotic damage, physical damage, there's a lot of fire damage as well if you decide to spec into that, and we'll see how that plays out in the end. Over here on the power scaling tags we have necrotic and melee, necrotic and spell, poison and damage over time, necrotic and spell once again. I don't know exactly how we will develop, we'll probably go with a lot of life stealing, and we're probably going to go with a bit of poison, it really depends how things work. But either way, I'll see you in game a bit later when I get to specialize in skills. Good morning everyone and welcome back to the Two-Headed Wolf Gaming channel and last Epoch, as today we're focusing on these blood skills, and we start with Marrow Shards and Reap Blood. Marrow Shards fire sharpened bones from our body, the bones pierce through enemies inflicting physical damage, and instead of mana, 9% of our current health is consumed to cast this spell, 61 damage in total, but that 9% cost is quite high. Either way, we'll alternate it with Reap Blood, which rips out blood out of the target enemy, dealing physical damage to it, and an orb of blood is drawn back to us, restoring 10 health when it reaches us. 42 damage, 3 mana cost, we can manage this. So overall, we'll use Marrow Shards as much as we can afford it, about half health I'm imagining most of the time, and then we're changing it to Reap Blood just to get some healing back. I would be focusing at this moment on Marrow Shards as the DPS skill. We need to make sure that we are getting the most out of that 9%, so we're gonna focus on specialize on this first. Then we'll see. Of course, in the beginning of the game, we'll use all the tools we have in our toolbar and thus hide like good little cowards, brave little cowards, let's call it, behind our skeletons, and we'll do as much damage as we can. So, as far as the spec skill goes, there's quite a few choices here. I'm just gonna take a look at the ones which are nearby us because it seems like there's many modifiers. We have here Bone Knives, where Marrow Shards and Bone Splinter hits deal significantly more damage, 75% more, but Marrow Shards no longer pierces. I do like piercing damage, especially early on, so I am not gonna take this path just yet. I've seen some Lich here. However, this one is you leech a portion of physical damage as health if you cast Marrow Shards recently, past 4 seconds, and it's a 3% per point. In total, you could get 9%. It's not cancelling out the 9% that this Marrow Shards has. The Marrow Shards take 9% of your current health, no matter what. This one gives you, or it's scaled according to your physical damage, so you need to do a lot more physical damage in order to get a lot more health, okay? That's how that works. Then we could get ourselves less projectile range, but a bit more hit damage, which I wouldn't necessarily want. Marrow Shards and Bone Splitters have a chance to cause enemies to bleed, but Marrow Shards cost more health. I might be doing that, 10% more cost. I'm guessing it's 10% out of the 9%, it's not 19%, otherwise it would be really bad. And the bleed chance of 25 is okay. We might be going with a bit more bleeding here, plus we can get extra damage against bleeding enemies, and bosses would be great for that. We could also get ourselves a Marrow Orb, which heals us for 15 health. Okay, so we can get some of our health back. And the big advantage by going on this path would mean that we don't need to use Reap Blood anymore, because we could get some health back with this if we invest a lot in it. That might be something we want to do. Osmomancy, when you directly cast Marrow Shards, you have a chance to immediately cast a second instance of Marrow Shards. The additional cast does cost health. Okay, well, let's try it. I feel like that is the best choice. Let's try it, let's go forward. I also have some gear. This is the gear which I'm running with, where I have to see how it behaves, to be honest. But we have this Acolyte body armor. With 20% of current health lost per second, we gain 30% of missing health as ward per second, plus 19 ward per second, 128 dodge rating, and 11 ward gain when you dodge. I don't know how this will work if we constantly lose 20, because if we lose 20% of our current health per second, constantly, that just means that in 5 seconds we are dead or close to dying. And I don't think we're getting enough word there to sustain it, but we shall see. And then we have this Grimoire of Necrotic Elixirs, plus 3 to Vitality, extra health, 5% of current health drain per second for 4 seconds when you use a potion. Yeah. 36% less void, necrotic, and poison damage taken for 4 seconds on potion use, and plus 35 necrotic damage to melee attacks and spells for 4 seconds on potion use. And then we gain this one right here, 73% increased chance to find potions, gain haste for 3 seconds on potion use, and 39% increased dodge rating. What I am thinking is that I might just use a lot of health and health potions. So if we can increase the chance that we are getting those potions, that would be really good for us, right? Now, as you can see, our health is going down very quickly in these situations. We really need to throw in a lot of protection, I would say. So maybe we get some of these to begin with, some of the white gear, and then we're going to activate the loot filter. But at least we need to get some basic equipment before we can do anything else. I definitely want to get that healing. Orb of Blood is necessary, I would say. Cool, we've unlocked Harvest. We're not gonna use it as a skill. We need to throw in our other points as well. Go for passives. Let's see, increase critical strike chance and stun chance. Yes, let's use that for the moment, even though we're losing some of our strength, right? 33. With this one, we're doing 37. Yeah, we're losing 7 damage overall, but I think we're okay with that. Increase damage and minion damage. Get a lot of armor and minion armor, or intelligence, which would be ward retention and necrotic resistance. We need both of these. I don't think we need to focus on damage yet. We're gonna go with some bone aura here. 4 points probably, and then I'm going to start investing in intelligence. Over on this side, Marrow Shards and Bone Splitters have a chance to shred armor. However, we need to invest 3 points there. We need 3 points on this one as well with the bleed chance in order to get the healing orb. And let's start going in that direction as well. As much as I would like to get the armor shred early, probably a bit better to get some sort of healing. At least for now. I don't know exactly how we'll specialize in the future. Things will probably be a bit different. And we probably want a lot of health regeneration as well, right? At what level we can? This is level 9. The belt will be at level 9 to find more potions. And the robes are at level 13. Not 20, 13. But there we go, we're doing some bleeding. We're doing 58 bleed damage at the moment. Just because it scales with physical damage, and that's really nice. You don't need to focus like on poison, getting all those modifiers from gear. Physical damage you get from pretty much everything, so it works good for us. I guess that is it for the moment. I'm just gonna put a cut in here. I'll return at level 8 when we unlock the next specialization slot. I don't know why I'm having so much trouble with that word. I guess I haven't heard it enough. I should look it up and hear people pronounce it in English, because I don't know if I'm saying it wrong or if I am right. And that's what I'm thinking about every time. This impediment. Am I saying this right or am I saying this wrong? Is this how you say it? And if you don't find out, then it's constantly questioning whether you're saying a word wrong or not is not the best way to keep communicating, right? Okay. We're very close to dying here, but we saved ourselves. And whenever we use a potion, we're getting huge boosts in damage. And that's really nice. But as I said, I'll put a cut in here and I'll see you a little bit later. We're back at level 9. I have respect out 2 points from Bone Aura here, just because it felt like at this point, when I am using Marrow Shards, I'm losing a lot more health, of course, from casting this spell, and if I'm not killing the enemy, it's actually turning out pretty bad. It doesn't really matter that I have all this armor at this point, since I'm not really killing enemies. And thus, for the moment, weirdly enough, I am going to start increasing the damage that we are doing. You know, 20% is not bad there. We will need a bit more vitality as well for the extra health. 6 extra health and 1% poison and necrotic resistance could be good. Your minions have increased attack. We don't care about minions on this run. Whenever a nearby enemy, ally, or minion dies, you have a 10% chance to gain a word. You know what? I didn't read this that it also adds from nearby enemies, but now that I'm reading it, I am going to go with this. And I feel that at this moment, it's either we go with some necrotic resistance or with some health. Health wouldn't be bad, but I don't really care about the minion health. Let's go with intelligence here. I'll be spending how much? Let's get another one of these. 26 word is pretty good. And let's get one more point in damage. Summon Bone Golem. We might bring this to the battlefield. And we might keep a Bone Golem instead of skeletons, to be honest. I think that's what I'm going to do. We will have a bit more protection here instead of the skeletons. I do still like the Wandering Spirits as an ability, but we shall see what we change around here. As far as what I want to spec in. On one hand, I want to go with Bone Curse, just because we could go in this direction. Some Armor Shred, Bone Armor chance on kill sounds pretty good as well. Healing amount, of course, bleed chance, getting some reblood on Bone Curse timeout. So overall, we could get a lot of healing out of it while we debuff the enemies. Also the slow one, yeah. On the other side, we could try Transplant here. Creates a new body for you and at the target location, then detonates your old body to deal physical damage to enemies around it. Instead of mana, 13% of your current health is consumed to cast this spell. 279 is very large as far as damage goes. So I want to throw this in. I want to play around with this sort of stuff a lot. I want to see how it feels, and I'm getting attacked a lot, so I'm thinking creating this body double which explodes is actually really good. Over on this side, we're gonna continue towards getting Marrow Orb, right? The ones which heals us. And over here, getting a bit more area of effect could be good. Casting Transplant grants you haste and frenzy for a short duration. That could also be great. Transplant creates an additional body that detonates on arrival. That's also really good. Number of Rebloods cast. So it increases our health cost. However, we automatically cast Reblood at enemies nearby where you depart. An enemy cannot be hit by multiple instances of Reblood created this way. Okay, that's really nice. Transplant detonation leaves a pool of blood for 3 seconds that slows enemies down. And we could reduce the health cost there and get a bunch more effects. Pools of blood heal you for a percentage of your total health when you walk on them. That could also work. Yeah, there's a lot we can do here. Bone Curse on arrival. Yeah, we'll definitely go with this one. I'm happy we picked it up. I believe the first thing we want is to go over here. Maybe then the pool of blood and make sure that we reduce the cost of health. Or we shall see exactly how things work. But either way, I would rather go this way. And Wandering Spirits has become sort of a crutch. Basically, we are using it every time we are in trouble. And that's, on one side, that is okay, it's good, of course. However, this is not the way I want to play here. I want us to focus on actually making this work. And many times I feel like if you keep skills that you like, it really depends what your end goal is. Do you want to get to a certain point as quickly as you can in order to, I don't know, activate your build or things like that? Maybe you've played it a bunch of times. Of course, you want to look for the most efficient way to do this. But since I am doing this series where I'm trying out these classes until level 35, you know, and we have what, today and tomorrow, those are the only days left. In this episodes, what I'm looking for is actually doing experiments and trying ideas, especially now that I've gained some knowledge of the game. So I'm okay with this. We need to force ourselves to try out skills, and that is going to be totally fine. I should remember to throw in a few more bone curses. Let's go to this. Scavenger will provide us with 70% chance to find more potions, gain some haste on potion use, and a bit more dodge rating. Great. How many do we have? 15%? That's not bad. Not great, but it's not bad either. Okay, let's keep going forward. We're going towards the boss. Okay, let me put a curse on him. Yeah, now should be really good. I like the bone curse because it applies on an enemy, actually it applies in an area, but causes enemy to take physical damage when hit, and the damage is tripled if it's inflicted by us. Right, so it's 11 extra damage, and if we do the hit, it's 33 extra damage, and that's really good. Right, we can do a bit of this, we can do some bone marrow there. As soon as we run out of health, we can sit back and hide. Movement speed armor. We're losing some physical resistance, but I feel like I'm okay with that. I will have to remember to craft a bit more gear. Right? Physical resistance should be maximized. That is pretty much what it seems to be the main thing you want. Then void resistances is also really important. And only on the odd occasion you need the poison resistance, I would say, maybe even bleed resistance. We've seen that generally speaking, when you're fighting poisonous enemies, there are like this mob of scorpions and they all apply poison stacks to you, and that's where you get the most damage from. But they're not as often, like they don't appear too often. Okay, let's put a curse here. Let's do bone marrows. Taking a lot of health out of us. We'll do a bit of that detonation. Now we're gonna get some healing back. Once again, put the curse on him. Overall, it's not the speediest. Actually, I should use a few more potions because it gives us a lot more damage. Right, I'll do one of these and then I can do these straight up attacks, and that's pretty good. More curses, let's do a bit more bone marrow. I think I can afford it. I should probably think about specializing in the golem as well. Just because it can attract a lot of the damage, it can stun enemies as well. That wouldn't be bad. It wouldn't be a bad way to go forward either. But it's probably not what I'm going to do right now. Overall, with the bone golem, where is the blood one? This one right here, where he can cast Sanguine Orb, a spell that deals physical damage to nearby enemies over 2 seconds. And there's a bit of healing there, but that seems to be about it. The rest would help us only if he gives us armor, or we decide to go this way where we stun enemies. I guess there's a bit of that, but not a whole lot. I wouldn't say that Bone Golem or Blood Golem is really offering us something super amazing, right?
Speaking of, let's have to come. I must reach Lena at once.
A Terra's blessing.
Okay, what else do we want to do at the moment? I guess I will want to try out that armor as soon as we have an opportunity to do so.
Lena, I'm so sorry to you too. This is what's best for us all.
Okay, we'll leave this behind while we get teleported into the future, things like that.
I'll finally be able to.
And let's see how we deal with enemies over here.
What just happened? This place is fascinating. Different, but somehow the same.
Okay, they don't seem to be that rough. I'm wondering if I should turn bone marrow into an explosion. I've been looking at the piercing damage and it definitely works. But having that kind of bone marrow explosion in a cone behind the enemies or something like that could also be very useful for us. Let's see, a level up over here. We want the pool of blood wherever we live, so when we're getting melee attack we can run away. And we have those jumpers. Oh, that's what I could do. I could curse them and then leave with the what is called transplant, the body double. That would be triple the damage, and that could be really good for us. Dodge rating, physical resistance, some increased movement speed. Yeah, don't mind if I do. I think that is better for us. You deal increased damage, but lose a percentage of your maximum health each second if you have killed an enemy recently. We could also go with this, which summons a Revenant. It is something which we don't have to worry about, and it does summon a lot of Revenants because we are using our health, right? Does it say that we need to get hit? When damage leaves you below half health, you summon a Revenant. You know what? We do not know. That is the situation, that we do not know. However, we're gonna try it out. Now, if the Revenant gets summoned whenever we drop below 50 health, I think that will be very useful. If it gets summoned only when we're taking damage, well, that's a different story. I won't like it as much. However, it's very easy to buy your points back there, to remove your passive. So that's why I'm doing it. That's why we're trying it. Let me summon another one of these golems, just so it doesn't die anytime soon. I still don't like the skill at the moment. The build is not feeling too great. I feel like many times I'm actually in trouble. And I want things to be smoother. We shall see how we actually manage to do that. But probably increasing the AoE of this marrow shard would be the way to go. I think that that would be a way, and the other way would be to do what? To automate more of these transplant. Like to apply curses and everything like that, or even throw and specialize in the curse itself to do more damage with it. The modifier which said that the curse stays with them forever, so basically it costs a lot more mana, I believe, but then you don't have to recast it on the enemy, which could mean a -1 button which you have to press, or 2 or 3 depending on how long the battle lasts, like in the situation of fighting a boss. So overall, we'll have to figure things out, but I am okay with that. I am okay with these sort of experiments. At the end of the day, this is just the start. We'll be farming for a lot more experience. We'll be getting a lot more once we are playing with the Lich. Lich had the life drain I saw and read through yesterday during the Necromancer run. So it should be interesting either way. Okay, you know what I'll be doing? I'll put another shortcut here. And I will return when we can equip this armor. To at least finish it with an idea if this armor works and how it works before we move on to the next episode, right? Before we move on to the mastery and we figure that out. I feel like that is a really good idea. So I'll see you back in a few minutes. Or for you, 1 second. Level 13. Let's figure this out. So I even threw in these boots, you know them, they increase the dodge, they increase our movement speed as well, take less damage while moving. That's all good, I like them, it's going to help us survive. We have the close call shield here, I decided to use this one as well. 50% less block effectiveness, so not the greatest shield in the world as far as effectiveness goes, but it gives us 86 dodge rating, 40% increased dodge rating for each hit you have blocked recently, and plus 4 health gain when you dodge. So overall, I think this is going to be a good shield for us for a while. I know, I'm throwing a lot of uniques here, but after playing most of the classes, what has it been? 12, 13 runs at this point, up to level 35? I think I'm okay with this, right? I think I'm on my 14th run actually, right? Yeah, something like that. So now let's figure out the Shroud of Obscurity here. 20% of current health loss per second, 13% of missing health gain as ward per second, 19 ward per second, 128 dodge rating, and plus 11 ward gain when you dodge. Let's try this out. Our health is going down. I don't think we can use this armor. As much as this is really good, as far as protection goes and ward, that will stop us from casting spells. Unless we get regeneration. Actually, we might want to try this out. Now there is one element which I've been experimenting playing this character, and there's one element which we have to take in consideration. The 9% current health cost is quite high, but that is quite high when we are up here. When we're not up here, 9% of our current health, right? Its current health is not going to be that large. However, we are going to be on low health, right? So it's not from maximum health. It's not just 10 attacks or 11 attacks and we're dead, something like that, 12, right? But if I keep attacking like this, you can see that it's taking a lot of our health, and then it's going to go down. The cost is going to go down because 9% from this is not going to be as impressive or as costly. Now let's upgrade the character and let's see if we can run with this. Although I believe this one is going to kill us. Now I'm very curious, I think it's going to stop at some point because we are getting some ward per second, but hopefully it's not going to kill us. Let's see on passives. I'm going to get this Ethereal Revenant just because I want to see once the health drops once again. Right, we're bringing it up and making it drop again if it's going to summon him. And I'm going to go with Blood Pact, 12% increased damage, but health drain per second, 1%. We're going to go with that because I want to go forward here just to get that health regeneration and reduce the health drain by 5% per point. So overall, it says here that, and effects that drain a percentage of your health drain less health. So I am thinking, it says effects. I am thinking that it might apply to skills as well. I do not know for sure. Maybe one effect would be to equip this armor, and I'm guessing that might apply as well. Who knows? We're gonna see it. At this moment, I guess I will want... Do I need a point to get here? I am not sure. Let me get a bit more ward just to make sure that we're staying fine there. And then as far as active skills go, for you, we are going to get the Marrow Orb chance, 20% to gain 15 health. And then we're going to go for higher chances here. And Marrow Orbs have a chance to also replenish mana. I don't think I care about that. We're just going to get the extra chance there to invoke those. And probably a bit of reduction here wouldn't be bad. I'll do 1 point there. I'll do another point over here, and then we're gonna go to Rain of Blood. Either way, let's see this in action. I'm losing a lot of health. I don't know if I like this armor, to be honest. that word generation might be great, but I think I might need a bit more word retention before I could actually run with this, so that we can lift our word up to, I don't know, what is it? What would be a good amount? Like 200? At least as much as we are consuming from our health, right? Okay, at least we're summoning the Revenant, so that's good. We're gonna try to kill this mage, and I guess this will be the ultimate test in a way, to see if this is going to work in any way, shape or form for us. So far it's not the most efficient way I've ever seen of playing the game, of course, as you might imagine. But we are surviving, and that is interesting to say the least. Okay. Word generation is happening a lot quicker than health regeneration. I think once we get some health regeneration and use those drainage, the blood drain from skills or effects, I think at that point it might be worth it more. Let's see, poison, increased health regeneration, some necrotic damage, yeah, nothing too good. Either way, I think I'm okay with, for now, to stay with this armor. We'll recalculate a bit later. We're not getting any damage at this point depending on how much health we're consuming, so if we're not getting any bonuses on that and we can survive like this, then maybe it's not too bad. And it seems like we are summoning the Revenant quite often, and I like that. So we're getting these heals and then we're summoning him again. The Bone Golem is attracting a lot of attention, he's taking a lot of damage, but at the same time, he's not dealing a lot of damage, he's not as useful as it was in the Necromancer's case. Let's see, do I want to increase? Yes, we'll increase the chance there for Marrow Orb. I need to figure out what type of explosions am I going to throw on the Marrow Shards, just to do a bit more area of effect damage. Yeah, it seems like at times we're really doing a lot. All of these are spells, so we would need to focus on that. Maybe it's trying to throw a lot of crafting at a wand, make sure that it's giving us a lot of physical damage, which we don't have at the moment. But either way, let's fight this boss and then we'll call it an episode. A weird start, but I'll tell you what, it wasn't the first time we've had a weird start, and in the end we found solutions. We need a bit more game knowledge, we need a few more skills to be unlocked, both passive and active, right, to maximize the potential of what we're doing right now. And I'm sure that in the end, we'll find a solution to make something good out of it. I am really confident about that. And look at this, even though we might not be doing perfectly, it doesn't flow as well as some of other builds, we really killed these guys a lot quicker, or very quick. I wouldn't necessarily want to compare it to something in particular, so we'll just say very quick, and that's fine. 26% chance to poison on heat, health regeneration, yeah, there's plenty of stuff. And look at this, yeah, we're under 50% health, and this summoned by itself. So this is working, as long as we are under 50% health, this is going to summon. And does it say what's the cooldown here? 15-second cooldown, and then we get another Revenant. This is fine, this is okay with us, it's going to help us, really cool. That's going to have to be it for this episode. Hope you have enjoyed it. Hope you enjoyed the idea that I'm going for here. It's not the most original idea, I'm guessing, at the moment. It seems like the game mechanics are given by the developers to go in this sort of direction, but we shall see how it evolves. And hopefully you gain a bit of game knowledge and maybe you try something out yourself. Maybe a better idea. If you do, consider sharing it with me, as I would love to hear all about it. And until the next one, I wish you all to have a wonderful day.